I'm unconcerned with differences between interculturalism, multiculturalism, polyculturalism, or transculturalism. They all view the mixing of cultures, ethnicities, and races as good. Rather, it's that versus the conservative historical value of separation. As far as multiculturalism in the early church, internet sources are extremely dishonest. They essentially say the church was fully multicult. But here's what's behind that. In the Bible's pre-Mosaic and Jewish ages, Yahweh's people were commanded to be fully separate from all others, culturally, ethnically, geographically, and racially. Any mixing resulted in war, the Israelites being captured or capturing others, or their falling away from the Lord. But the advent of Jesus Christ radically changed the world. He taught that all people worldwide were to be united in one religion. He taught that every human had dignity no matter their background, culture, ethnicity, race, or social standing. He taught that everyone we meet should be treated with kindness and helpfulness regardless of any differences. And he taught that select believers should access foreign lands in order to spread the gospel. But that was the limit of prompted mixing, nothing more. None of that qualifies as multicultism, and Jesus did not come to spread multicultism. No scripture passage supports it despite reinterpretation efforts. In fact, multicultists did not gain traction until the 1960s. Before then, God-fearing people understood that mating with different races was abnormal and called miscegenation. Racial purity was often legally enforced, and they knew that cultures were very unequal. All immigrants to the United States, no matter their differences or similarities, were responsible for learning good English. My grandmother, at 8 years old, was forced to be proficient in English after coming from Czechoslovakia and her native Czech language. Multicultists claim that separation of people groups demonstrates bigotry and coercing multicultism creates love. Nah, but nature is exact opposite. A chief pillar of nature is separation of all living things and cohesion of those with identical traits. Bird flocks are a prime example. We don't say it's due to birds being bigots. In fact, birds of a different feather that break the norm by being in another's nest don't go there for love-ins. Rather, they are there to steal the eggs, or kleptoparasitism. And when people groups mix, some are parasites while others are taken advantage of. Since the 1960s, secular society has increasingly pushed the idea that diversity is our strength. They illustrate this as every people group being part of a great melting pot. But in any melting pot, you never mix everything in it, only what's needed. Crucibles for plastic should only contain plastic. Ones for metal, only metal. And many such melting pots should only contain one specific metal, as for example, both pure copper and pure silver are necessary for various industrial applications. And you skim off the dross or refuse and remove it. Even molten plastic has its impurities removed by dissolution, called dissolution recycling. Making some alloys in a furnace, such as stainless steel or inox, would require multiple components such as iron, carbon, and chromium, but certainly not everything. Even gold in there would only be dross. Yet multicultists not only don't want to remove any dross, they want to bring in every kind of dreg, scum, and waste. A multicultist society leads to moral relativism and weakness from which it can collapse. A young, naive multicultist preacher said, "Never let your differences push you away, let them push you in." No! Rather, never let your differences push you in any direction. Instead, always use objectivity. That same bobblehead also said, the church and the worship in heaven will be the most diverse. quoting Revelation 7, 9-12. Two failures there. First, if we kept mixing the nations, kindreds, people, and tongues, the Apostle John would be unable to tell them apart, since they'd all look and sound the same. So the symbolic vision is of having maintained separatism instead. Most strikingly, we are not in heaven. So a shining example of multi-cult society on our dirty is Sebastian Zepeda Khalil, an illegal Guatemalan immigrant who set a sleeping white woman on fire in a Brooklyn, New York subway, then fanned the flames. Some people just watched a policeman just walk past doing nothing, and a passing Jewish man just waved his hand at the scene as if it annoyed him. Found on uncensored video sites. So she burned to death. For now, to stop the hate, we must separate facts